Good morning, students. Today I am taking up a topic, heredity and evolution. This topic is in science of grade 10 and it comes under biology, and it is a very important topic because a lot of questions comes from this particular topic, and I find that students mostly find this topic of heredity a bit confusing. So I'll be definitely making it easy for you, and I'll just teach you in such a way that all the topics are covered under this particular main topic, and you will be able to solve the questions once you go through all the videos of mine related to this particular chapter and topic. Okay, so just let's start the topic. And today we have just kept these learning objectives because I'll be moving step by step so that everything is very clear to you. Okay, so what we are going to learn today is we will be looking at what are characters, we will be looking at what are traits, because many a times we get confused between both the terms. Then we will be talking about the gametes, what is the importance of gametes in transmission of traits and characters. Then we will be talking about the term heredity as to what is heredity, and then we will move on to variations and its importance. Okay, fine. So let us come to the term characters. Now suppose if I ask you to write an essay on a cow. Okay, so what you are going to write? You will be writing about the features of cow, isn't it? So you will be writing about how many limbs or legs it has, you will be writing about a tail that it has, you will be writing about the horns or the two eyes, the color of the animal. So these points that you are going to refer, you are going to write, are basically the features by which you recognize that particular animal. Okay, so similarly in all the other organisms there are certain features by which you recognize that organism, and these recognizable features are what we call as characters. Okay, yes, characters. Now what are characters? The features by which we recognize an organism. Okay, the features by which we recognize an organism are known as characters. Okay, so what are the characters? When I talk about characters, it can be like skin color, it can be skin color, it can be you can say type of hair. Okay, then it can be eyes, how many eyes are there, the color of the eyes, it can be number of eyes, or maybe the color of eyes. There are so many things. Okay, so all these are the characters by which you recognize an organism. Okay, fine. Now we come to this term traits, right? So when we are talking about traits, actually traits are again characters only. Traits are nothing but characters only. But when I say height, when I just say height, now height, okay? Now in height you have tall and you have short. Isn't it so? Huh? So you can say, okay, this person is tall. You can say that this person is short. So the tall and short, they are two parameters of this particular character. And these two parameters are actually known as the traits. So parameters are nothing but character only. So many a times we say that characters or traits. Okay. So recognizable features, we say that it is character or trait. right? So traits can be taken as different parameters of a particular character. Okay, so another trait, for example, if I say color of eyes, that this is another character, and we have two parameters. It can be brown and it can be black. Okay, so the brown and black, these are the two parameters, so these are the traits, right? So now I think the characters and traits, they are very clear to you. Okay, now these characters and traits, every organism has these characters and traits. And where do these organisms get these characters? Where do we get these characters? Like if I look at myself, okay, my skin color, the type of hair that I am having, the color of my eyes, okay, the ear lobes or my height, whatever. So where did I get all these traits from? Actually, I got these traits from my parents. Okay, so my parents transmitted, or you can say transferred, these traits to me. Similarly, it is done in all the organisms. The parents, they always transmit their traits to the offsprings, and we are going to do the same, right? We will be transferring our traits to our offsprings. So the question is how? How are the parents transmitting these traits? How do we get these traits from our parents? Okay, well, here comes the role of gametes. Now, you all have heard about this term, gametes, because, yes, you have all heard about this term, gametes. They are also known as germ cells, right? And in the previous chapter, that is reproduction, we were introduced to this term and we know what it is. Okay. Now these gametes, they are special type of cells. You know, I think you know about haploid and diploid. So we will be coming on to those molecular bases of inheritance, then I will be talking about this. But they are very special type of cells and they are very different from all the other cells of our body. And these gametes are found in our reproductive organs. It is found in the testes in animals, or the ovaries in testes and ovaries in animals. It is found in stamens and carpel in plants. Okay, so these gametes basically carry all the traits, all the information related to the traits. Okay, and these germ cells are basically used to transmit or transfer all the traits to the next generation. Okay, so what are gametes? Or they are special cells used to transfer the parental traits to the offsprings. Okay, special cells used to transfer the parental traits to the offsprings. Okay, and I think in the previous chapter, that is reproduction, I'll be soon uploading the video of chapter reproduction as well, so that these things are very clear to you. Okay, so during fertilization, these gametes, they carry all the information related to the traits, and then during fertilization, then the gametes fuse and form a zygote. The zygote contain all the traits. Okay, now, and you know the gametes, you know sperms, the egg cells, the pollen grains, the ovules, these all are the gametes. Okay, fine. Now we come to this term heredity. So we have done this term, we have done this term, we have done this term. Now let us come to this term heredity. Now what is heredity? The process of the transmission of traits from parents to the offsprings. Okay, so what is heredity? Heredity is the process of transfer or transmission rather of traits from parents to the offsprings. Okay, now this is what we call as heredity. Understood? So see, these terms are very important, because see, later on when we are going to talk about the laws of inheritance, when we are going to talk about Mendelian laws, unless and until these terms are clear to you, you will not understand. Right? So these are like, when you are climbing, when you want to reach to a particular level, you have to just move step by step, and you should know what all, what is the importance of each step, right? So it is something like this. Okay, fine. So we know what is heredity. Okay, now I just want you to look around. Just think. You compare yourself to your friends. You can compare yourself to your brothers and sisters. That would be the very best thing, like best example that I can actually give you. Just compare yourself to your brothers or sisters, whosoever you have. Are you all totally alike? No. Even, if you look at twins, you will definitely find some difference amongst them. Some, even if the differences are very less, but still there are differences. Now these differences are in what? The differences are in traits. Okay, so it can be like you might be fair, your brother or sister, they might be whitish in complexion. You might be having curly hair, your brother or sister might be having straight hair, right? So all these differences are there. So even it's not only your brother and sister, even if you look around all the human population, right? If you compare yourself to a European, if you compare yourself to maybe a person of Mongolian race, Chinese, right? Or an African person, so you will definitely find a lot of differences, isn't it so? Right? And we all belong to one species. So the differences in traits amongst the organisms of a particular species is called as variations. Okay, so variation is something very important. This is what we are going to learn in heredity, how these variations basically occur. Okay, so we will come to this term variation. I believe you all have noted down these terminologies. Okay, so I'm just rubbing this because I feel that you might have noted down this. Oh, fine. Variations. The differences in traits, or you can even write characters, amongst the organisms of a particular species. Okay, This is what we call as variations. Fine. So let us just talk about the examples of variations. Okay. In fact, you can just see the examples are here only. When I am talking about height, we can see two variations. Okay, some of your friends might be taller than you, some might be shorter than you, right? So this tallness and shortness is again a sort of variation. Similarly, if you look at the color of eyes, some might be having those dreamy brown eyes and some might be having those jet black eyes. Okay, there can be friends who might be having blue eyes also. I had a friend and basically his eyes were blue in color, and we really initially when we saw that person, we were really surprised. But yes, we have blue eyes also, right? So these are different variations, and one such variation that you look around, in fact, which is given in your NCERT book, is a variation in the ear lobes. You know what is this? This is the ear lobe, right? So this is the ear pinna, which is a characteristic of mammals, right? So if you look at this ear lobe, so some people have free ear lobe. They have free ear lobe. So the ear lobe is somewhat like this, a free earlobe which is hanging, and some have a earlobe that is attached. Okay, that is, if this is your face, right? Let us just take it as a face. Okay. So, right, so you have the earlobe which is somewhat free, and this is an attached earlobe, right? So free and attached earlobe are the two different types of variations. And the last point I want to talk about is the importance of variation. Variations are very important for species, because if there is a change in the environmental conditions, suppose, right? So if there is a change in the environmental condition, adaptation can only be possible if the organisms of a particular species has variations. Okay, and these variations only gain importance if it continues to be inherited for a very over several generations. Okay, so variations basically become visible only if it is inherited. If it continues to be inherited over several generations, then only you will be able to see that particular variation. Otherwise, you will not be able to notice it. Okay, and what is its importance? Variations allow the organisms to adapt to the changing environmental conditions. Is it clear? So, right. So today I'll just keep this class till here, and then we will be talking about the molecular basis of inheritance and variations in our next class. Thank you, students.